Hey, Homestead Prepper, I want to show you guys my all-terrain off-road engine hoist, cherry picker, engine lift, whatever you want to call it, people mover. I've modified it. This thing had those little swivel casters on there, and I can't tell you what a pain in the behind it is to try and move that thing around on the ground or asphalt or something like that. Those 10-inch swivel tires, which I got from Harbor Freight, I'll show that to you later, have made moving this thing around a real joy. And even when it has a heavy item on it, it just moves over this rough ground like nobody's business. Now, I know out there in the YouTube audience, some people are probably questioning, well, Mr. Homestead Prepper, what could we use that for in the shtf? Well, guys, I'm going to tell you, I've got a relative, and she's had both of her knees replaced, and she has called me and my brother-in-law at all hours of the night to come and pick her up because she can't get off the floor once she falls down. She just can't do it, which we've done it numerous times. And she has done it so many times, I told her, I said, you know, you really ought to think about putting one of those Harbor Freight trolleys in your house. Now, guys, I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying that, you know, for practicality and, you know, to save my back and save my brother-in-law's back. And actually what happened is I was doing a job somewhere, and she fell, and she called my brother-in-law and a neighbor, and they hurt both of their backs trying to pick her up. So now the paramedics are inconvenienced. So in a grid down situation, guys, if you don't have the strength to lift up a loved one, or you don't have enough people, or you don't want to, you know, you injure your back in a grid down situation, you're going to have more problems than you know what to do with. But mainly this was built for, you know, moving engines and installing. Now, I have laid down plywood on the ground and used those little swivel casters that came with it, and I was able to get the job done. But those wheels right there make the job just so much nicer. I'm going to show you how I did it, how I put them on there, and we're going to move some heavy engines. Hang on. HSP to Mrs. HSP, over.
Ms. HSP here.
I've got an emergency.
What's the matter?
I've fallen and I can't get up.
I'll be right there.
Great job, Mrs. HSP. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, Mr. HSP. Glad to be of help. It's a good thing we had that lift.
Yeah, ain't that something? Okay, guys, on a serious note, Alright guys, I'm just taking these off right here so I can put the new ones on. So let's show you a little bit of what I'm doing here. And there we go. One down, 4 more to go. Save those bolts for later. Maybe we'll get new ones. Alright, 2 more to go. Alright guys, I got those pieces cut out and I need to drill them out, and you're going to see how I'm going to mount them to the engine lift. Alright, let me get those drilled out. I thought it would be worth a mention, but I have just absolutely butchered this plate right here trying to get those holes. You can't get the marker in there straight. So what I did is I just put that on top of there, and I put a little spray paint, and that makes my template. And what I'm going to do is now I can see better where to put the holes instead of trying to use the marker, and you see how I kind of screwed it up. So alright, well let's punch that. Get a hammer, and we're going to put it like, say, right about there, and then this one, put that one right about there. And then if I'm successful, I'll drill that out, and then I can use that as my template for the rest of them. Alright, let's get them drilled out. One of the problems I have is these bolts are too long, and they hit that when it goes to swivel around. Of course that one's not hitting, but the other one was, so I had to change to some shorter bolts. I got that's a 4-inch bolt, and I moved to a 3.5-inch bolt. So let me finish putting that on there, and we'll slide that on that lift. Well, there we go. Now each one of those is rated for 300 pounds, so as long as I don't pick up anything more than 1,200 pounds, I should be good. I need to set the bolt in that. I might put a self-tapping screw in there, I don't know, but I don't think they're coming off. It's like leading a horse. Alright, we're going to see if we can pick up something over here. Alright. A lot easier to move around. Those wheels are all swivels, and they are rated for about 300 pounds each. And I guess it cost me, well, with the bolts and everything, it probably cost around $80, but I would say it is well worth it. The wheels were about 15 each, and then I had to pay for the bolts. I did have some nuts and some washers left over from another job, but that didn't cost me anything for that. But this is going to, like I said, make my life a lot easier. I'll be able to wheel this thing up on my trailer, whereas before I'd have to take it apart and get a dolly and put it up there and then put it back together. And then the same problem, guys, when I got to where I was going, you had to get over the bumpy asphalt or the ground or whatever. And this is a real game changer. I want to make a note that this is the old caster, and there is no way to grease it, and this thing has lived its whole life pretty much outside. I think it's about 20 years old. I think I got it back in '99. Before that, I used to hang a come-along out of a tree. But what I wanted to show you is that these new wheels, you can see they got grease on them. They have a grease fitting, and I highly recommend that you keep them greased, especially even if you don't store it, outside. It's just going to work a lot better and last a lot longer. These amazingly have held up as long as they have. I just wanted to add that in there.